If you want to develop self-discipline, it would be good to listen to the words of Marcus Aurelius. He was the emperor of Rome from 161 to 180 and is considered the last of the 5 good emperors. Marcus Aurelius practiced Stoicism and was a dedicated student of historical philosophy. During his rule, Marcus Aurelius found time to create a series of autobiographical writings, now known as Meditations. In these writings, the Roman emperor offered several important insights on how to develop self-discipline. Here are 10 of the most important insights on self-discipline from Marcus Aurelius's writings. Self-discipline begins with discovering your purpose, says Marcus Aurelius. On mornings when you struggle to get up, keep this thought in mind. It's I am awake for the work of a human being. For then I am troubled by the fact of wanting to do what I was made for. To do the things for which I was placed in this world, or was it made for this? To hide under the covers and keep warm is so pleasurable. So, you were made for pleasure. In short, to be indulgent or to strive. Marcus Aurelius believed that each of us has a purpose, something for which we were created. It is our duty to fulfill this purpose, because it is the purpose that gets you out of bed every morning. If you have a clear understanding of your goals and how your task fits into them, you are much more likely to complete them. Let's say you have a flat tire and need to change it. Your goal is clear. Change the tire as quickly as possible so you can continue on your way. You will perform this task no matter how tired you feel. The greatest source of self-discipline is having a reason to perform the task. If you don't know what to do, just start. If you want to be a writer, write every day. If you want to be an artist, draw and create every day. Whatever you want to do doesn't need more motivation, research, or advice. You simply start practicing something you're interested in and deal with it every day, because it's your purpose that will give you an inner desire, drive, and motivation to propel you toward your goal. Self-discipline is finding compelling reasons to do something and then committing to carry out that task or activity to the end. Rely on yourself. According to Marcus Aurelius, you should turn your desire into stone, satisfy your appetites. Stay centered in yourself. Here, Marcus Aurelius refers to a stubborn pursuit of the goal and the danger of distractions. Once you have a solid purpose, it's time to build a practical action plan to help you achieve that goal. You should not only commit to your goals, but commit to all the small actions you will take along the path to pursuing those goals. We must be fully committed to doing whatever it takes to get the work done, regardless of the challenges that arise along the way. Self-discipline is the ability to act and do what you need to do, regardless of your physical, mental, or emotional state. Everything you want in your life, everything you want to have, be, and do, depends on your ability to take the necessary actions to achieve your goals, whether you want to or not. You can start by creating an effective action plan that includes a deadline for achieving your goal. It should also be built on the basis of mini milestones that break down your goal into manageable parts. The mini milestones will ensure that you are working towards desired results in small pieces and blocks of time. This tactic puts you in the driver's seat, giving you a sense of control over the tasks and projects you're working on. What you're trying to avoid is succumbing to being overwhelmed. Getting overwhelmed can quickly lead to procrastination, and procrastination can subsequently lead to stagnation. And where there's stagnation, self-discipline cannot exist. Strive every day, says Marcus Aurelius. You must build your life by action and be content with each step toward your goal as far as possible. And no one can stop you from that. But there will be some external obstacles. Gladly accept the obstacle for what it is and shift your attention to what is given, and another action will immediately take its place. The one that best fits the life you are building. Even after having a solid purpose and a practical plan, some of us fail to achieve our goals. We fail because we can't be consistent. We need to strive every day and work. The simple act of striving and immersing yourself in your craft works wonders for mental resilience. You create focus and accept the necessary process to achieve something great. You have to dedicate countless hours of work before reaping any of the benefits. Self-discipline is nothing more than the habit of consistency, finding the motivation to do something new until doing it becomes automatic and you start to see results. So even if you fail once, for example, if you didn't exercise when you knew you should, that doesn't define your character. Your ability to move forward is what turns you into a disciplined and strong person. A bad day doesn't have to become a bad week. A bad week doesn't have to become a bad year. Practice voluntary hardships. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, we must discipline ourselves in small things and from there progress to things of greater value. Voluntary difficulty is one of the ways we can build our self-discipline. It means constantly testing ourselves, and by routinely making life uncomfortable in some way, we are strengthening ourselves for the day when we might actually need to live it. By doing so, you'll start to understand what scarcity and difficulty are like, and that you can live with both. Practice the dichotomy of control. Marcus Aurelius says, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. The dichotomy of control is a practice that essentially states that some things are under our control and others are not. This provides us with a framework for effectively problem solving, dividing them into segments. Things we can control and things we cannot. Obviously, when we try to control the uncontrollable, we have no impact and end up feeling powerless, frustrated, and anxious. When we don't take responsibility for things that are under our control, we can't overcome our situation because we aren't focusing our energy where we can make an impact. We remain stuck. People stuck here often complain and develop a victim mentality. It's not a healthy place to be. The dichotomy of control helps us shift our perspective in two important ways. When we're able to determine what is out of our control, we no longer waste time and energy trying to change it. We see what it is, accept it, and move on to what we can control. When we're able to determine what is under our control, our beliefs, values, and actions, we can focus our time and energy on acting in those areas and move forward. This makes us much more efficient and effective. Being able to identify what we can and cannot control also helps us develop as individuals. When we're suffering, but what's causing us suffering is out of our control, we're left with one option: to change how we look at it. As soon as we develop the ability to identify what we can control, suffering becomes a choice. While the dichotomy of control is sometimes criticized for being defeatist or passive, it actually focuses our energy exactly where we can add value to our lives, rather than wasting it on things that don't budge. No matter how much we complain, suffer, or dislike, adversity happens sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. However, we always have the ability to decide how we respond. We always have the ability to make the best use of what is within our reach and accept the rest as it happens. Enforce for yourself what is under your control and what is outside of your control. If you embrace what is outside of your control and accept it, you will feel tranquility. Never play the victim, in the words of Marcus Aurelius. Do your work without complaining. You've probably heard or said some of these phrases. I was born this way. I never learned anything different. My parents set a bad example. Everyone does this. These phrases are excuses that people use to justify staying as they are, rather than striving to improve. You need to take responsibility. A defeated mindset is the enemy of mental resilience. You may not be at fault, but your life depends on you determining what is under your control and taking that into your own hands. You must train yourself to frame things this way, rather than immediately resorting to self-pity. Certainly, it's easier to blame others when something goes wrong, but only those with a certain degree of mental strength are able to move forward, even when it's not their fault. Straighten the ship. Be the person who steps in to take action, not the one who looks the other way and casts blame. When you victimize yourself or your current position, you give up control and exempt yourself from personal responsibility. And without a sense of ownership, significant progress becomes an impossible task. Practice delayed gratification. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, so were you born to feel nice instead of doing things and experiencing them? Don't you see the plants, the birds, the ants, the spiders, and the bees going about their individual tasks, putting the world in order as best they can? And are you not willing to do your work as a human being because you won't run to what your nature demands of you? Do you not love yourself enough, or do you also love your nature and what it demands of you? With Thierry insists, is to live a life of service, to help others and contribute to the world. Any resistance to this inherent purpose is therefore a denial of our nature and a failure of self-love. It's great to have something you desire right now. Life is short, agrees. but some things that make you feel good or help you avoid discomfort in the present moment come at the cost of what you truly want in your life. These long-term goals are the reward for delayed gratification. They don't even need to be so far in the future, but they have the potential to bring you more joy or prevent greater pain than the promise of the present moment. Let's take a closer look at what delayed gratification is, because it's so difficult to practice, and how you can improve at it. Delayed gratification is the ability to resist the temptation of instant pleasure. Instead of giving in to temptation, you resist in the hope of obtaining a better or more lasting reward in the future. When you know how to practice delayed gratification, you can wait for what you really want. Instant gratification is the opposite of this. Instead of patiently waiting for what you desire, you settle for something that will bring you immediate pleasure. So, what is delayed gratification like? It takes on various forms depending on the aspect of life. Let's look at this example. Among people, the ability to have healthy eating habits. Proper nutrition is the long-term goal that can help you improve your health regardless of your weight. But it requires a lot of self-discipline and delayed gratification. Indulging in delicious but inadequately nutritious foods or overeating might feel good in the moment. However, proper nutrition is a greater reward that takes a long time to achieve. Instead of finding gratification in eating or overeating tasty but unhealthy foods all the time, you find gratification in being healthier. To do this, you must be able to forego immediate pleasure and keep your long-term health goal in mind. Having stronger impulse control, this ability to resist temptation and keep our goals often goes by the name of self-discipline. And delaying gratification is often seen as a central part of this behavior. We delay what we want now to possibly get something else, something better in the long run. Ignore the pessimists. He believed that people's criticisms of you say more about the kind of person they are than about the kind of person you are. Marcus Aurelius states in our Meditations, when another blames you or hates you, or people say similar things, go to their souls, penetrate inside, and see what sort of people they are. You will realize there is no need to be racked with anxiety that they should hold any particular opinion about you. Whenever you step out of the norm and declare, even to yourself, that you believe you have a special purpose in life and will do whatever it takes to achieve it, you'll attract pessimists. Pessimists are people who criticize, object, or oppose something. Some of them might even be people close to you, but you can't let that deter you from going after what you value. Pessimists love to say no. They might love you, but they fear progress, so they're against everything. And their opinions are detrimental to your self-discipline. You need to realize that getting upset about the opinion of someone you don't know or don't respect is as foolish as getting upset about the weather. It's a waste of energy. Their voice doesn't deserve to be heard. Don't give away your peace of mind to strangers. You must actively seek feedback from those you respect. But if someone just has a history of pessimism, ignore them. These tips will help you when the resistance from pessimists becomes difficult. Clearly define what you want. The clearer you can articulate what you want, the better you'll stay in the face of resistance. Go straight into the details. What does the dream specifically look like? How will you know when you've achieved it? Define it. Understand why you're doing this, because this dream matters. There's no right answer to this question. The important thing is just that you can answer it and that your answer excites you and propels you into action. The more compelling the reasons you want to achieve your dream, the stronger your determination to keep going. Fight your inner pessimist. You can be your own worst pessimist. Our inner naysayer is that voice that tells us we can't do it, that we're not smart enough, rich enough, lucky enough, and don't know the right people to be able to accomplish our vision. Don't listen. Replace your inner opponent with a powerful voice. Surround yourself with largely positive people, and you will become the person you surround yourself with. If you only associate with negative people, you'll likely become a negative person too. If you surround yourself with people who pursue their dreams, overcome their fears, and develop their talents, you'll do the same. Take risks. Nothing good can be gained if you're not willing to take risks. Risk is not something to be avoided. In fact, it cannot be avoided. Learn to embrace taking risks. Find wise people to imitate. Marcus Aurelius says, associate with men of good quality if you esteem your own reputation, for it is better to be alone than in bad company. Choose someone alive or someone from the past. Now it's time to look outside for answers to help strengthen your self-discipline. Let's identify role models. Your role models could be your friends, family, or someone you admire who has already achieved the goal you're working towards. Ask yourself, who is doing this right now? Who has successfully achieved this goal? Who has successfully mastered this habit? Who has successfully made this change? Who possesses the necessary self-discipline in this area? What can I learn from this person? Take some time to ask these people how they discipline themselves. Then use their experience to help you discipline yourself throughout your personal journey. We need to recognize the importance of having wise individuals in our lives whom we seek inspiration from. Visualize the person you want to become and find someone who is one step ahead of you. Observe what they do, listen to what they say, learn from them, and more importantly, pay attention to what they don't do. Changing your mindset will increase self-confidence in staying on track and becoming more self-disciplined. Apply this knowledge actively in your life, and you will be rewarded. Review your day. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, these are the characteristics of the rational soul: self-awareness, self-examination, and self-determination, so it succeeds in its own purpose. One of the best ways to become more disciplined is to examine yourself and find your weaknesses. Be brutally honest and use this time to connect with your subconscious. Consistently practicing nightly retrospections will allow you to become more self-aware at every stage of the day, as you'll be actively collecting information to formulate and articulate constructive answers to these questions. Ask yourself, what did I do well today? Where was my discipline and self-control tested? What did I do wrong? Why did that happen? How can I improve? Now you know how you can improve tomorrow. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. As Marcus Aurelius reminds, Stoicism is not a great teacher, but a balm, a soothing ointment for an injury. Wherever we have an epigram, it was right when he said that life is hard, harsh, punishing, narrow, and confined, a mortal business. We must accept any help we can get. Turns out help can come from ourselves. Self-discipline begins with mastering our thoughts. If you don't control what you think, you can't control what you do. Motivation makes you start. Discipline keeps you growing. That's why we can't let externals determine whether something was worth it or not. The key to success is within us. For more videos to help you find success and happiness, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.